Okay, we are up. This is episode 100. Triple digits. Here we are.
You did it.
Joe Carlucci in the house. Famous Joe Carlucci. And wow, what a wild 2023 for you all, for me, I guess, to some degree. But hey, it's New Year's Eve, December 31st, 2023. This will air tomorrow or Tuesday, as soon as I edit it.
Okay.
So just a quick backstory for our listeners. If you're familiar with the program, this is now the fourth time that you have appeared. You were episode 22. You were episode 50. And didn't really have plans past 50 to have you on as soon as then you came back on episode 57 because that's when you went out to Vegas and you won the Pizza Maker of the Year.
Right.
And I wanted you, on Saturday when you came back, I guess you flew back, and I had contacted you and said, I want an exclusive interview. I want you in my studio Monday morning.
You were the first one.
And you were tired. I guess you had gone to Nashville Sunday to go watch Valentina cheer or something like that. And they won the whole thing?
Yeah, they won too. So it was a great weekend, but a long weekend.
You came in bleary-eyed on that Monday, but
yeah,
I appreciate it. And then you surprised me by naming the pizza maker of the pizza of the year, basically the Our Town, and it's on the menu as the Our Town.
As of right now, it is the Our Town on the menu, and I have to tell you, it's in the top 3 of selling in the new location.
Really?
Yes.
Is it because people weren't familiar with it before, and they're like, "Hey, what's this Our Town thing?"
Yeah, I think when they see it on the menu and they see the description of the ingredients, as opposed to maybe having like something on the table or leaving it to the employees to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's more catchy, and they see it and they want to try it, and now it's picking up steam.
So what do you think is the overriding ingredient that attracts them?
I think it's the pepperdew honey regatha mixture over a sweet raw Italian sausage. So you're getting the flavor from the sausage, and you get the spicy hot honey, and then you get the cream with the regatha, and then a little spinach over the top. The combination, I mean, it's light.
So it's killing it, huh?
Yeah, it is. Your son doesn't order it; he just gets the cheese pizza. But
yeah, and as an update, my son Dylan now works for Valentina's, and he loves it. He absolutely loves it, and it takes me back to like my first job when I was 16, and I loved it. I even to this day I have such fondness for those first jobs. That of course, back then it was like $5 an hour, and inflation, it's different now, right? Whatever you're paying him, but he just loves it, man. He just loves the work, whether he's working in the back or working up front, and what that means for what he's gonna wear, and he's get very concerned about how he cleans the dishes and stuff.
I will tell you this, and I'm not saying this because it's your son. I shoot straight. I've been doing this for 30 plus years.
Yeah,
and Dylan is different. He's very different. Sometimes you have to tell him 15 times to do something.
Yeah.
Or 20.
That's like at home.
But I can tell you, and I love every single kid that works for me. I love them all. But there's something about Dylan. He cares, like deeply cares about this place. It's not about the money. I could tell Dylan I can't pay you for a week, which I would never do, and he'd be like, okay. He'd be the first kid to raise his hand. He frustrates me the most, but I couldn't be more proud of him.
Yeah.
Because I told him at the old store, I said, about 65% of you guys are not going to make it. I said, I don't know if you're going to make it over there, Dylan. We're going to a lake to an ocean. It's a lot more people. It's going to be a lot busier. I said, I don't know. I don't know. I want you guys. I'm not going to fire you, but you might fire yourself. You might not be able to keep up. You might not want it. Because the older store was very controlled. You could hide your weaknesses if you were a server, if you were in the kitchen, because it was so small. So when you go into a bigger location, your weaknesses are going to be exposed. If we give you three tables at the smallest store, they're right next to each other. People could help you.
Yeah.
You've been to the new location. You get 3 tables and they're spread out. I don't know if you can pre-bus. I don't know if you're serving them right. Same within the kitchen. But out of all the employees I've had, Dylan absolutely like surprised me. And he's off dishes, and I'm like, because we got a whole. I told everybody we're getting a kitchen crew. We got Spanish people. They're like machines. I love them. I said, Dylan, you're gonna be in the front. You know, it's not like a promotion, but we want to put you out there. How do you feel? Well, I kind of like the back. I'm like, you don't have to kill yourself doing dishes. You're busting tables. You're getting drinks. You're seeing what your coworkers, what your friends, the kids that you work with, that you go to school with. Yeah, but I said, you want to go back to dishes? Like, tell me what you want to do.
Yeah.
He's like, no. He said, it's just different. I'm getting used to it. But he's out there. I'll tell you, it's the ones you don't expect that prove you wrong. And that kid, he steps up. I mean, I'm yelling, Dylan. You know, yep, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. I mean, whatever you and your wife did with him, you should really take a back seat and pat yourself on the back, because I'm impressed. He shocked me.
Really?
He stepped up, because this is an animal that even I'm learning to navigate.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
We have 50 to 60 people waiting at 4 o'clock. The restaurant's full. The tickets on the pizza line were about 40 to 60 tickets back at 4 o'clock.
At the new store.
Online orders, not the people coming in. So all of us are trying to learn how to do this, but I'm proud of all the young kids. They've stepped up.
Yeah.
All these teenagers, all these kids, they have all grown in the last 2 years at the old Valentinas, and they've really surprised me. You know, we come in all in uniforms. I told Dylan, I was like, you know, because Dylan fights with bleach a lot. I don't know how, I don't know why, but he'll come in. I'm like, you just got a shirt. So I said, I'm buying the next uniform for you. You're not buying it. I'm giving you the money, and I'm taking all the bleach out of the restaurant. Because when he cleans, he's very thorough. Dylan is extremely thorough when he does something, as some other kids are not as thorough. And like, he takes pride in it a little more than most people, to the point where like it's on him too. You know what I mean? And you can't really fault him for caring and doing that. But at the same time, I'm like, you have to be aware, you know, that he's getting on your clothes. But no, I'm very proud of him. You guys have done a great job.
Well, we appreciate it. And I think as a parent, you just hope that kids have some other opportunity to do things outside the home. You know, keep them busy, keep them engaged, and you know, you try to teach them well. But like you were saying, that you know, sometimes you have to ask them to do things over and over. And I was the same way. You know, I was Mr. Attention to Detail at the job where I'm getting paid, and I wanted to make a good impression. And I come home and I'm a sloppy mess. But no, I appreciate that. That's he's our youngest of 4, and you know, he's almost out of high school, and I appreciate you giving him an opportunity to work and to see another side of himself. You know,
he's opened up a lot.
Good.
You know, and I think a lot of kids, you know, I mean, let's face it, I'm not the easiest to work with sometimes, but they get it and they get me. Dylan listens to me, but he doesn't hear me. It doesn't stick when I'm like, Dylan. You know, he's like, okay. You know, some kids are like, oh my God, again, Joe. Dylan just, he blocks it out. He blocks me out. And that takes a lot. And he learned that. And he doesn't take it personal. At the end of the night, we're having a pizza, or he's watching a puppet show with Valentina. Yeah. And, you know, he doesn't take it personal. He knows, and I'm not screaming or cursing at him. I might be like raising my voice at him and getting upset. But 5 seconds later, he's over it. Like, he's very, very thick-skinned. More than most people would think. He does not get rattled. If he gets rattled, he rattles himself. Nobody in that restaurant, me or Cameron, nobody rattles him, because he doesn't take it personal, because he's there for Valentina's. He's there for everybody, the team. And that's hard to convey to 16-year-old kids.
Yeah. Well, you know, when I look back on my life, I am glad that, you know, you're Sicilian. And I would hope every kid has an opportunity to interact with other cultures. especially Italians and Sicilians who
Sure.
have like worked their butts off, right? Like, and I've interviewed a few, but I've had tons of good friends over the years that are Sicilian and Persian and you name it. And I love that when hopefully kids as early in life as possible get exposure to other cultures and their work ethic and where they immigrated from, right?
I think it's important they do see that.
Yeah. So just as a brief recap, just if anybody's a little bit lost, I would say go back and listen to episode 22. That was where we really dive into your life, coming up through Carmel, New York, and your family. And 50, we kind of touched on that a little bit as well, but it was also the plans had been hatched for the new store, and we kind of really talked about that and the plans that you had. And there's been one change to the original plan as to what happened now with like the gelato bar and the bourbon room and stuff that we can talk about. And then of course 57 was just really talking about the win in Las Vegas,
right.
And your staff going out there and also and enjoying in that as well, and also you had to do a lot of judging. So what I think I want to do today, Joe, is really, again, we're going from a 1,000 square foot. You're renting the space in your old restaurant,
right.
The old Valentina's. You had 6 tables and a bar, and a patio. You have a beautiful mural, and then you got later the mural of picture of Portnoy comes, and then boom, now we're in the new store.
I got a story about that later.
Sure. And now you're in the new store, which is only, not even a quarter mile, eighth of a mile maybe.
Right.
West, just down from Valentina. So now you own it. I know if we could also dive in today on just everything you learned. This isn't your first restaurant. It may be the first you own outright. Right? Is this the first time you owned this space, or
like
you've always
land,
rented?
Yeah,
the
I've
land and
never
everything.
Owned, yeah.
So you own the land, you own the building
by myself.
By yourself. It's beautiful, and it's 4 times bigger.
Yeah.
And so I know the any sort of delayed openings and stuff that you may have had were mostly due to how do you not only handle the ability to have 4 times as many customers in there, but then you also have to triple, quadruple your staff, right?
That's been the big struggle we could talk about and the reason why.
So what can you just kind of lay out for people that how the plans that were from the original plan to what transpired, maybe even like in the gelato bar, and then whether or not you were going to hold on to the old space. Can you just kind of talk through for anybody who knew you and or listened to the program on, this is what's going to happen, plans changed, kind of why did they change?
So, I had the food truck. COVID was coming. I was in the middle of COVID. I had the commissary space, wanted to do the pizzeria there. So took the commissary and turned it into the old Valentina spot. Didn't think much. I thought, hey, it's a good size space. We'll do okay here. Added a patio. Got some recognition from local news and press. And the business grew. In the first year, won a competition. Business doubled. And then we started running into situations where we were on waits on a Tuesday, Wednesday because we only had 6 or 7 tables. The patio was seasonal. If it was raining, we couldn't use it. We kept getting more recognition. And then at that time, I had a friend of mine come in. He said, there's some property down the road I think you should look at. I said, I don't think we're ready for it. Long story short, I said, what's the worst I can say is no. Went to the bank, filled out some stuff, told them about my business, showed them my numbers. They were impressed. And they said, yeah, we'll approve you for this much, and we'll go forward with it. Talked to the builder who's / the owner of the land. Then I won then I won again. And as we were progressing to build that building, we had to get out of the current location because it was actually holding us back. We actually started losing sales because we were losing our regulars. Because we couldn't get in. There was no parking, no lights. The heat didn't work all the time, the air conditioning. I mean, I can't believe looking back, we survived 3 years. Moving forward, there was so many mistakes that I have made and cost me hundreds of thousands of dollars, which is one person's fault and only one person mine.
Yeah.
But I learned from it, and I don't look back. It's a learning experience. It's been a tremendous learning experience. Going from 1,000 square foot shop to 5,000 with the patio enclosed and seating 150 people compared to 30. We ran into some major roadblocks. I remember I have to tell you right now, I want to thank you because I cracked a lot, and texting you was
like therapeutic, or just
it just
you get to vent.
I needed someone to say get up, and you were that person when I would text that night, and you'd say I'm praying for you, but get up, you can do this, and I'm like I don't know, because it was wall block after wall block after roadblock after road. I mean, I'm like, is this ever gonna happen? Is it worth it? You know, and you're very inspirational in just being there, you know. But when we finally got over the hump, now my whole vision is to create something that other restaurants are not creating around here, and it's a culture where, you know, the kids and the people want to work. They can have careers. They can have 401ks. They can have vacations. They're not working 100 hours. The problem that I'm learning now is people like your son, Dylan, and a lot of my old employees, it's very, very hard to do and create. And the reason that is because every restaurant and manager in this area suck. They suck. They suck because they blame their employees. Employees don't suck, and kids don't suck. Parenting sucks, and training sucks. So if I have a bad employee in the sense of they show up late, they don't come in uniform, they smell like smoke, they don't know the menu, that's not on the employee. That's me. I'm allowing that to happen. So when people say, oh, my employees or my staff, no, they don't. Your management and ownership. I take blame for that. Now, I'm not saying we're perfect at Valentina's, but I 100% would put any of my staff. They're not coming hungover. They're not coming, you know, with no car. They're not calling out. They need a day off. We make it happen. We work together. But I think that's the biggest problem. So I'm getting leftovers from other places, and we're trying to be picky, but at the same time, we're short-staffed.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you change your vision and culture, or do you stick with it and explain to people, hey, we're not going to be open this section. We're not open for lunch at all right now because I don't want my staff to be overworked. We'll open Saturdays for lunch eventually, but when we have a double staff so they don't have to work, I don't want double shifts. It's not all about the money for me. I want these people to make money, have fun, go to school, hang out with their friends, hang out. You know what I mean?
Is that a lesson learned from the other store where you were open for lunch? Was someone, so one of the overriding themes, right, in the episodes you've appeared on, and you kind of alluded to it earlier, where you have some mentors, and you would say, hey, I got this idea, and they would say, don't do it, Joe, don't do it, and then you do it anyway, right? And it got yourself into trouble, and that's kind of what you're alluding to in your growth and development. It's realizing, well, I can only blame myself, right?
Right.
So is that something where and you used to be open for lunch, was that burning them out? Is that something you were kind of fighting? Like, should I do this?
It wasn't burning them out because it was only Friday, Saturday. Friday was like up and down. It wasn't really worth it to have them. And as far as Saturdays, I know we would kill it. It's just we don't have a staff, and I'm not going to make them do a double after doing Friday. It's more of me because all my friends are open lunch and dinner. I'm the one that's changing the narrative.
So then are your mentors the Tony Gimignani's of the world, who you do reach out to, who is I just saw he has his 100th franchise.
Yeah, amazing.
For the
Slice House.
Slice House?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I know.
This guy's he's got
a machine.
I know you got one store.
I don't know how he does it.
But are they the ones that are just say, hey, no, Joe, just dial it down, man. Just
no,
do the hours you can do until you feel like you can expand.
No, they're just for what we're putting out and what we're doing in sales to the hours we're open. Everyone is just surprised that I talked to, and they said, you found your formula. Now that doesn't mean my formula would work in Nashville if I open there or if I go somewhere else, but my formula over here right now, it works for me. So they said, you've done your research and obviously you know what you're doing because it's working very well, not just here, but at the older location.
Yeah.
And my staff appreciates it too. And that's what, working till Friday, even though we close at 9, we get out of there at 10:30. Coming back on Saturday, opening at noon, you still have to be there at 11, 10:30. And let me tell you, if we did that, we'd have 11:30. We'd have 40, 50 cars, and it's just.
Yeah.
I want them to breathe. I'm there all day. They might come in about 1, but we're getting things ready and we're not like going crazy right when we open. So we have time just to breathe, relax, and then get ready for 4:00.
So what in going back to trying to start a new store, you're quadrupling the amount of customers, maybe even quintuple the number of customers you can have. I would presume the biggest need you had was kind of on the pizza making side, right? Someone to supplement you, because there's only one Joe. And that's kind of how your formulas work, though, to date, was to say, hey, I'm going to be the workhorse, and that's going to help you defray costs and stuff. But has that been the singular biggest challenge, is to try to get the pizza makers? Like, I'm assuming you can find some wait staff, some kitchen help, some back kitchen, but talk me through that.
Yeah, we grabbed about 2 or 3 servers from Cork and Crust.
They closed down, right? Off county line.
Yep. And they've been tremendous help. They had a different culture over there, and so that was a little in the beginning of like, this is what we're about. This is how we do things here. And when they saw the money they can make, they bought into it. And I tell everybody, listen, you don't have to like me. I respect you, you respect me. Buy into me for 4 hours. And at the end of the night, you tell me if you want to buy into this system.
Right.
And it's not a screaming, yelling. It's, be knowledgeable, be professional, work together as a team, and have fun.
Yeah.
And they did, and they've been a huge asset to us. The pizza line has been a tremendous struggle, just because it's a unique thing around here, like hand-tossed pizza, like stretching with your hands. I believe like Mellow Mushroom and maybe Marco's and maybe a couple other places, but nobody else does that, hand-tossed. So it's all on me again. I mean, I think this week I did 1,000 pizzas.
Really?
Yeah, and it's nothing like I'm proud of. I just, I'm learning, doing this 30-plus years, setting up my system to be more efficient, to handle it. This past week was our best week ever as far as pushing them out in a fairly decent time. But I'm also realistic.
Yeah.
I'm 45, my body, my mind. Plus, I can't see what's going on out there. Plus, my GM's working over 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
She's there at 7 in the morning till 10. So I need to relieve her, but I can't get off the pizza line. I can't. I can see the whole place, but now that we're doing 5 styles, we're doing tavern thing, Chicago style, we're doing Detroit, Sicilian, cauliflower, and New York. So each one of those has a different recipe. So 7 days a week, I'm making a different recipe. New York style I do every day, but all these other different styles, because, like I said, I want to be pizza. I don't want to do anything else. So the load when people come in is on the pizza side. So, I'm not giving up hope that we can find and train some people, but it's been a lot harder than I would have thought it'd been. Now, as far as servers and kitchen help, the kitchen is almost complete. We've had this Puerto Rican lady came in, and she just basically filled the kitchen for us, and we have prep people, so that's helping me. And now the word is getting out as far as the servers, the hosts, so in time that will build. We can't even open a patio yet because we don't have enough people. We have 75 seats on the patio, and we haven't opened it, and we have heaters.
So you could if you had the infrastructure.
Yeah, if we had the infrastructure, we could do it. But it's definitely it's a learning curve on the fly as I'm doing it. I'm learning and figuring out this and that. So I just do a day by day. I look back. I try to go to the store every morning for 15 minutes and walk through the front door and just look, because it's amazing. You walk in that brand new store, and I'm like, holy cow! Don't ever paint a store white again. Hey, what about that? You know what I'm saying? You see all these little things, and I don't get to see that because I'm on the other side, just doing the pizzas.
Actually, I may have a picture here. Here's part of it, the new spot, right? If you can see that, it'll be easier to see there on the top screen.
Yep, that's it.
That's the one view, and then I think I have there's the kind of your front view, right?
Yeah, there she is.
in the mural. So it was I went to the kind of the soft opening.
Yeah, the friends and family.
You know, I'm one of those people. It's even in your old space, it was always tough to show up. You know, it's, okay, I'm your friend, and you know, I'd like to feel like Joe. I know Joe, and give me a table, right? And you would probably seat me, but then you know, it takes away from other customers. I'm sensitive to that. And even in the bigger store, we went in one night. I was like, you know what? It's crowded. We'll come back. You know, because
text me.
I did, but at the same, we showed up, but at the same time, no, yeah, you did, but it was just like it was a long wait, and there was a lot of people, and I'm like, you know what? This is good. This is good for Joe, right? And I weigh enough. I don't need I don't need to be eating pizza every day, but it was exciting. But at the same time, I always feel for you when it's you know, the word has gotten out, you know, and you're trying to seat people. And hopefully you don't really know if people are like, hey, I'm fine. I'm willing to wait an hour and a half for good pizza. And then other people can't wait 10 minutes, right? I'm sure you see.
Oh, yeah.
You see that. Are you getting some grumbles already? In prior episodes, we had talked about how people came in like, Joe, are you going to fail again? And just people just say, you know, the meanest things.
Now I have people that I don't even know that tell me they're proud of me.
Oh, really?
And I don't know how to take that. Like, I've talked to you. I've known you for over a year now. Like, if you said, Joe, I'm proud of you, Erica, like, that means something to me. But, like, I don't know how to take when people just say I'm proud of you and I don't have a relation with you. I appreciate it, but it's not like it's my mother, my girlfriend, my workers. It's like, I don't know. I've never, you know, like, I told her, I'm proud of you. And I'm like, okay. But you don't know anything behind my story to be proud of me or because I opened it. You know,
well, they probably listen to each of your episodes on here.
Yeah, that's right.
And that might be where they're proud of you.
That could be it.
Because it's still one of the most, it's highest downloads.
Well, it's a pretty raw.
Well, all of them.
Out.
Anything I do with you does well.
Yeah.
And there's been plenty of people who all say, hey, what's your favorite episode? And whether it's just one or a couple, they'll always mention, well, what's the pizza guy again? They love it. So I would assume maybe some of that is.
Yeah, I didn't think about that, and that's probably true. They don't say, "Hey, listen to this," but
yeah.
But you know, we haven't. I haven't. The parking lot is not paved yet, and it's $50,000, and I don't have $50,000 right now. So, you know, I had people like messaging or leaving reviews about that. We had somebody leave us a 2-star review last week, because. And I was very proud of one of my younger servers. They cut him off because they had too much. And
they drank too much?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And we have a certain limit, a certain amount of people. And he came to the manager, and, you know, we take that very serious because they can get in trouble, I can get in trouble, and the bartender. And someone can get killed. And the lady left a 2-star review, said she's never been embarrassed and humiliated like that. Pizza was good. The server came over and cut them off, and she just went on this tangent. And I'm like,
whatever.
Like, go home and drink. Like, you know, I don't know the exact numbers, but, you know, depending on your weight and how much you eating that day, one glass of wine could be too much. And just the fact that you're going to go down and knock a business down because we're trying to do the right thing and teach our young staff that, and we emphasize that with all of them, you know, because I'm not always on top of the tables. I'm making pizza. Cameron's in back and forth in the front. So this kid, you know, did the right thing. He actually did. And then you get berated by it. You know, it's like, let's stop and think what we're doing. You're mad because you couldn't get any more to drink.
Yeah.
Because he made an observation. And it wasn't just his observation. We've taught him. We've had people come in and teach the staff about that. Just, you know, or like, you know, they need to do something. There's potholes in the parking lot. The light don't. I mean, it's always something. And I know what I have to do, but I made so many mistakes in building this that I still have to put a ton of money into it.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. I have to get the parking lot done, more efficiency in the back, the lighting. I got screwed over with the electrical work. Things are blowing through the night because the way the electricians wired some stuff on the same amperage or the same breaker.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I just, you know, I'm trying to like fix everything, but at the same time, not patch it, but like say what's number one, what's number two that needs to get fixed.
Yeah.
You know, but for the most part, the reviews have been good. I mean, we did 245 pizzas last night. And that's probably in a 3.5 hour range because by 7:30 it was dead. And, you know, the pizza guy burnt a couple. What am I going to do? It's 245 pizzas. You know?
Yeah.
Just call me. It's pizza. You know what I'm saying? Like, some people are really understanding, and then other people just want to go up there and knock a business down and knock a person. They don't realize the impact that 1 star has. You need like 100 5-stars to get up. But I try to stay away from all that, and I try not, because I can get sucked in real fast. So I just try to look at the positive, what my staff's doing. I told them last night, I said, everybody did great, but guess what? When you come in Tuesday, it's a new day, and including myself.
Yeah.
You know, we have to be better than they were the last day. But, I mean, I can't do anything about a wait if we can't get the right staff. And the problem is, if we just hire anybody, then we're going away from our vision and our culture that we want to create just to let the people sit. And then we're going to, because if you looked at our reviews, we rarely have any problems with our service. And I'm not talking about pizza took too long. I'm just talking about, in general, our service. You know? I mean, you see Dylan come out. He's busting tables now. He looks professional. The young girls have chef hats on the pizza line. I have one on. Everybody's working together. Everybody's smiling, and we're stressed. But if we try and just grab anybody from any restaurant that doesn't fit that doesn't buy into it, that's when the cracks start.
Yeah.
You know, oh, 5 minutes late. Oh, he's hungover. Oh, he smells like smoke. You're not even allowed to bring an iPhone on the floor. Apple Watch, not allowed. Hoop earrings, not allowed.
For your staff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now we have a break room with a slushie machine, espresso machine, a TV, and more snacks than Costco. And at any time during the night, they can take a 5. Dylan, Tori, me, whoever. Hey, cover me for 5 minutes. We have couches back there. We have games. Go sit down during the rush, drink a soda, drink a water, eat a snack, refuel, and then go back out. And I think that's important. They appreciate that. But people are just miserable.
Yeah.
Like, I know they're hungry, and I know they're, you know what I mean? But
I'll give you a good example. I was telling you before we hit record, I was telling you about a clip I ran on my buddy whose brother was killed in action, killed in Iraq, 2010, right? Mm-hmm. He's a combat control technician that worked for the Air Force. So, like, I don't know a lot about what they do, but, you know, they're wearing a lot of gear, and they're trying to orchestrate where you drop a bomb. You know, where does this thing happen, right? They're doing a lot of different things. And he gets shot, and the clip is about the American flag that he had folded up in his chest. And, you know, part of the bullet goes into his heart. The other part goes through the flag. And then that was presented to the family. Great clip. And that's the kind of clip that people who are in the military, you know, they'll comment about remembering their lost, whoever it was. And this one guy says, "Did you kill a bunch of civilians?" You know, just some dude. So usually, when I don't always comment back, I usually don't, because most of the time I'm just whatever.
Yeah,
it's just people are just stupid. But then it's like, now you're really pissing me off.
Yeah.
No, number one, this is my friend. It's not just a guest on the program. It's actually my friend for like 20 plus years. And now you're like, you're making this insinuation of why they're in combat, you know, and. You know, so I just wrote back. And I always have to catch myself saying what I really want to say.
I know.
And I just said, ridiculous comment. I'm going to let this sit for a little bit so people can see how stupid you are, and then I'm going to delete it.
Did he comment back?
No.
Because he probably knew it was stupid.
But and then I caught someone on Instagram, same thing the other day, just said something really stupid. And I did the same thing. And they did write back, and then it was like very different. And I was like, whatever. Just delete it.
Typewriter tough guy.
But yeah, it's amazing, right? How people
and
are.
You got to be careful. I get sucked into that a lot. And my GM is
Cameron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's amazing because she'll say send it to me, and then she'll
calm down
and she'll write it in like the most professional, easygoing manner. I'm like, that's not what I said. She goes, that's what you meant to say. And I'm like, you're right. Just put it out.
When you talk to your fellow pizza makers, those who own restaurants, you go out to Vegas, and you know, somewhat of a reunion, right? Mm-hmm. There's probably certain people you only see once a year.
Right.
You see them in Vegas, or whatever. Maybe if you're back in New York, visiting family or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the single biggest thing when you guys get into discussions? Maybe other than the the innovations of pizzas and what you're doing, but just is it customers and how do you please these people and how much things have changed when it comes to their feedback and their how to make them happy?
Customers and employees.
Does that consume your conversations?
Customers and employees.
Yeah.
Yeah, things like that. Yeah, mostly it's more like a lot of them now, when Cameron's looking into this now, is there's companies out there that will reply to all your reviews, good or bad. Like Cameron won't have to do it. Like,
really?
You can hire a company and you just never deal with it.
It's like a PR firm.
Yeah, and we're looking into, because I don't need to bog her down with either. Not that we get a lot, but it's just one thing. But yeah, it's a lot about how everything is changing and evolving, and how people are want everything now, and people are very fixated in things, whether it's pizza or whatever they want, and then if they don't get it when they want it, and these are adults, these are not kids.
Yeah,
that's the scary part. So the world is not getting better if you're listening to this. It can't get better. How can it get better if I'm sitting here telling you about adults doing this?
Right.
What do you think those kids are going to do?
Right.
We learn from our parents, right? How else do we learn? From our environment we're around, the people we were around, our friends that were around. But at the end of the day, it's the four walls that we grow up in.
Yeah.
So how's the world getting better? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a lot out of you, but there's a lot more good than there is bad, I believe. That's just my attitude.
Sure.
I have to believe that way or I wouldn't be in business. But it's very hard to deal with them sometimes, because, people can just be downright mean and rude, and, you wonder how miserable their life is. And the other thing is perception. People see this new restaurant, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they think, okay, this guy's got all the money in the world, or, I want this for free, I want that for free. Like,
right.
Does Chick-fil-A give you something for free?
Right.
So why should I? Or this one. We'll make good on your order. You know what I mean?
Oh, they just want like a free appetizer or something, a free dessert?
Everything, all the time. And it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, we live in a different time. We really do. And I love the customer and the people and the community, but, there's always a couple bad apples, but you can't let those apples.
Yeah.
It's even hard to get these kids today to have a job. It's very hard. Madison, and not knocking Madison, but it's a little prenuptious. It's a little.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. If anybody thinks anything else, they're blind like Stevie Wonder, 100%. And I'm not saying the kids are bad, but when these kids are pulling up in brand new cars, they don't need jobs. They need babysitters.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, you have people like Dylan, Tori, who works in the back for 2 years, Bren, who's 16. She's been working for me 2.5 years. I do have kids that appreciate it. And I do say to them, do you guys have friends? And you know what Dylan says to me? I wouldn't let him work here. You know what Tori says? No.
I wouldn't let him work here.
Because
they wouldn't be able to keep up.
Or because they know what our expectations are. Not that they're crazy, but they know they're friends.
Yeah.
And they're not going to vouch for that friend who might be a little lazy, or who might be like, I'm walking. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just hard growing from a small family to a big family and keeping that culture. It's very hard. And it's a lot harder than I thought it would be.
Let's talk about, I'm going to on purpose bring up my graphic here. Let's see here. So I'm rebranding in a way. With episode 100, it also is the beginning of a new calendar year. I've been looking I wanted some sort of symbol in this cube, the O and the T, right? And the play button there. I wanted some sort of just icon image, and also the the wording, the Our Town, and I'm actually branding now the North Alabama's podcast.
Looks good.
I'm really doubling down now on just hyperlocal, right? And there's just a lot of things I've learned over the year. We talked a little bit as well before we hit record on just the different platforms out there, and the algorithms and the audiences are all very, very different, from YouTube to LinkedIn to Instagram to Facebook. And it's been fun. I kind of enjoy that. I'm just on this quest to I want to make this thing go. I actually want to make some money and show that you can do this. So Valentina's, though, as well, I think is part of this opening the new store. It's an opportunity to, market promotion. I noticed that we don't see it here, but on the pizza box, one downstairs, I should have brought it up. It's Valentina's Pizza and Wine Bar by Joe Carlucci. Mm-hmm. Who was it that convinced you, like, hey, Joe, you need to get your name in there? Because we've talked about Famous Joe. We talked about that back in episode 22 and being a part of the World Pizza team. Valentina's your daughter. She's your everything. I get it. But at the same time, someone may have came around and say, hey, Joe, you got to get your name in there.
Mike Bausch.
Mike Bausch.
He's the president of the World Pizza Champions.
Okay.
He has about 5 or 6 different concepts in Tulsa. He's like the Tulsa king. Very smart business guy.
That's where they did the Guinness Book World Records, right? In Tulsa?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did a Zoom call with him, and he's like, listen, he's like, you need to put your name on it. It needs to be by Joe Carlucci. He said, I know you don't want to hear it, no one want to say it, but, you're a 10-time, 11-time world pizza champion, and you have visions to do other things, and you're going to blow this up, and you need to have the name on there to make a statement.
Mike Bausch.
Yeah. One of the smartest business people in this industry, and pizza guys. So I took his advice, and Cameron found someone to do a new logo. We found a company, Slady in California.
Okay.
So we rebranded our logo. We also did our wine logo, which is still on hold to do our own wine. It took some trial and error, but I think it looks great. I love it. It's simple, but it stands out. And this is not going to be the first of many endeavors that I'm going to be getting into in 2024. So it's a good start to say bye, Joe Carlucci.
Okay. So you're setting the stage.
There's other things coming in 24. Right.
I think that's what I'm going to read this. This is something that was hot off the presses before you showed up today. This was on Instagram from Valentina's. Who does your social media? Is that Cameron? Mm-hmm. So she says, looking back on the year, so this is a Valentina's Pizzeria post, right, on Instagram and Facebook. Looking back on the year, we are filled with appreciation and gratitude. From winning back-to-back pizza in the world and Pizza Maker of the Year to moving from a 1,000 square foot building to our own brick and mortar, which is 4,000 square feet, this year has been full of amazing changes. We are extremely thankful for all of the continued support. See you in 2024. We have some incredible things coming your way. So there's the hint, right?
A little hint.
All right.
Dropped a little hint.
Yeah, we'll talk about that another time then.
Yes. I think you'd be happy and impressed. But there's a lot more things on the horizon. It's just building that core. Cameron and Colin are my 2 core people.
Yeah.
I had a mixologist come in from Seattle. He's a 2-time James Beard finalist.
Hold on, I got the guy right here.
And there he is. And a level 2 sommelier. And he did the whole bar program and actually revived Colin. I thought Colin was going to leave. He was just, that old place is just run down and it was just beer and wine. And Colin's just taking it over and run with it. And he's managing the bar. I mean, he's making all these syrups and these cocktails and all this stuff for us. And it's taken on a life of its own. And I couldn't be more proud of him. And then, I have Cameron. She's the backbone. Cameron's like the glue to that place.
Yeah.
Like, literally. I mean, she knows more than I do probably what's going on a day-to-day basis.
Operations.
Yeah. So I have a really good team. I just need to grow that team so neither of them get burnt.
So so we've talked about the store, the size of the store. We've talked about having to staff up.
Yeah.
There's still some of the challenges there. We've talked about the rebranding, which is still kind of rolling out. There's some excitement there. And now what's his name again? This guy?
Niles.
Okay. I mean, obviously he's gone through. This dude just looks like Hollywood or something.
Yeah,
I
know.
He pays attention to every detail of fashion.
He's coming back in February.
So how did you go about saying we need this? Was this really helping out to roll out the added features on the alcohol side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And training your staff, but how did you come up with this idea to get this dude out here?
He has a pizza place in Seattle, pizza and cocktails. And I have a friend named Will Grant that lives next to him in Seattle. Will has a pizza school. And I had known Niles, seeing him at the show. Didn't really spend much time talking to him. I won. He came up to me, got a picture. Hey, how you doing? Congratulations, Joe. Blah, blah, blah. So I was talking to Siler Chapman, who's a teammate of mine, and he lives in North Carolina. I said, yeah, I want to do cocktails, but I told Karen, I want to do something different. I want to be like the best, and I want to just be different. Like nobody's done around here. So when I told Siler that, and Cameron, Siler's like, you need to call Niles. He's going to help me. I said, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, he's like a mixologist, and he does all this crazy stuff. So I messaged him, and he didn't message me back. And I call Will, and he's like, he doesn't really go on Facebook, so just text him. I text him. He calls me 5 minutes later.
Is he British? Does he have a British accent, or is he just American accent?
He's American.
Okay.
He might be
Nice.
British.
All right.
But, and he's into everything. He went to fashion school for 5 years. Like, he's done everything.
Okay.
And he's just getting into the pizza world. So he loves my connection with pizza, seeing that I won. We talked about pizza. Call him up. He's like, yeah, I would love to help. And because we were like in neutral. Actually, we were in reverse. Like, I literally had no idea. I went full bar.
Yeah.
And I had made many mistakes on building the bar, but he's like, okay, it's already built. Don't worry about it. He spent 2 months on the phone with Cameron. He literally told her and him what to order as far as equipment, glasses, design, all these, the gun that smokes, the smoker that sanitizes.
Really?
Yeah. And then he did our menu. And Cameron's like, hey, listen, Joe's a consultant himself. He does jobs for people. What's your fee? Because somebody like him, easy 10, 15,000, maybe 20, literally, for those 2 months and then coming out for a full week. He said to Cameron, pay for my flight and get me a hotel. I just want to just pay it forward for somebody else.
Really?
And I was like, so he ended up staying with me at my house, and we bought him the flight. He came from 7 days, and, Colin wasn't going to do the cocktails. He was going to do pizza, and this other gentleman was. And after like one day, and I was like, I don't know if he's the one, but this guy really retains it, and there's a lot to do. And he took it and he ran. And he called us every day. He's still calling us,
Really?
checking on us. He's just on another level. His humanity to come for free, take time out of his schedule from his pizza place, and then to teach our staff and to build the menu. He's coming back because we're going to do a Valentine's Day special. He's coming back for another week in February.
Had he been to Alabama before?
No, never been to Alabama. Took him to Buc-ee's. Loved it. We went to Buc-ee's like 3 nights in a row, literally.
I just went to the largest one they built in Seaverville, Tennessee.
Oh, really?
It's near Pigeon Forge
How
and
big?
Lake Gatlinburg. Oh, it makes ours look small.
Really?
They have more pumps, but then they just have more square footage inside too.
Okay.
It's a little different. I like ours better. It's just so big. It's almost too big.
Yeah, sometimes too big is not that good.
There's something I liked about ours where that section where you can go buy like clothes and you just kind of feel like you're in the mall.
Yeah.
That didn't stand out to me as much there.
Because it's so open. So
it was just so open.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's just a different feel when you have like those displays, even like you were to buy a cutting board or like some Alabama goods or something, right? There's that section.
It's not too big. It's just the right size. It fits for where we are. Yeah,
it's
I agree.
good size, but man, that thing was massive.
Really?
Yeah.
Next time I go that way, I have to stop. Valentina loves Buc-ee's.
And I got to tell you, like, just the thing that's not that good about it, the complaining side, it's kind of like hard to get to.
Off the beaten path.
Right, well, it's right off the interstate, but it's just like you turn, and then you have to go down to this light, and then you have to turn again, and then it's so big, it has its own traffic circle coming in and out.
Oh, wow.
And I don't think people realize that there's like this back road that's intended for you to leave from. And I don't think they realize that. So it just takes a while to get into it. I like ours.
No, ours is
so
easy.
simple.
Oh, anyway. Very simple.
Yeah.
But no, so he came and that was a load off my chest. And Cameron worked with him. We did these batch cocktails that he talked Cameron through over the phone about in November that we started. And he really, it was a godsend on that because I didn't have to focus on that. I didn't have to worry about it. Cameron did all the ordering for the glasses and any kind of equipment.
Maybe he owns Tony G something, and Tony's like, you want to pay me back? You take care of Joe. Like, so he owes a favor to someone. That's why he's being so nice to you.
No, I just think, when he said like pay it forward, people have done that for him. I was like, and he's great with people. I mean, and he's great at training people. And
That's cool.
Yeah. I mean, for him to be there open and week was huge. And now Colin does it like it's nothing. Like
train the trainer,
teach
the teacher. That's
yeah.
awesome.
I mean, it's been a blessing because between having the cocktails and then the pizza, you know what I mean? That's two animals, and I'm stuck in one.
Yeah.
So I have to go over at the end of the night. We're actually going to start me, Cameron, and Colin once a week outside the store. Probably go to another restaurant and get our thoughts down, see what we need to improve, what we need to buy, what we need to do better every day, stuff like that. Just communicate. I think communication is extremely important because you get too big too fast and you lose connection and communication with each other and the staff. That's when, things start dripping through the cracks.
I'll give you a little hint or a little tip. This comes out of the software development world, but it's called you'll hear something called Scrum or Agile. So like in software, what they do is you have a stand-up every morning, like with your team. And the idea is like, hey, so what did you do? What'd you do yesterday? And what are you going to do today? But what they also do is, so there's that. You just, every morning, no matter what, right? You have and that's not like a new thing in a way, right?
Yeah, we do that at 3:30 before we open.
Stand-up meeting?
Not that way. I'm going to try to do that next time. Every day before we open, we all have a team meeting for 3 minutes. It's a game plan.
Well, let's say you go to, let's say you have this initial meeting with you, Cameron, and Colin. And let's just say you come up with 90 things to do, like a to-do list. What they do in the software world is say, you know what? We're only going to focus on these 10 things over the next 2 weeks. And so all those stand-ups are like, how are we tracking on those 10 things? And that's what they deliver to the customer in what's called a release, right? And the customer's in on it. So like, let's say you as the owner, you're or the sponsor of, okay, there's 90 things in our backlog, but we only can humanly focus on these 10. Let's do these 10. This is the priority. And then you go on to the next 10.
I like that.
And the
That's
next 10.
Yeah.
And so that way you, in a release, like let's say it's every 2 weeks. After every 2 weeks, you're going to hyper-focus on the next 10 things. Or the next 5 things, whatever you want.
It's probably a lot more efficient.
And then you and you also start to realize when you categorize stuff that's just noise, it doesn't matter, right?
And you knock them down faster and go down.
Or you just you don't look at it.
Yeah.
Versus like you get spun up on it, right? But it really, and it's bleeding over into all these other industries of just that simple stand up every day, but then packaging your work and constantly having a prioritized list. And then there's kind of also that list that's like, it's out there. We'll get to it when we get to it.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I like that a lot.
And it's just simple things.
Yeah.
That a lot of us, we'll do it well, and then all of a sudden we stop doing it.
That happens a lot.
And you're like, oh, you got to come back.
That happens a lot. No, I'm going to try. I'm going to input that. Keep giving the advice.
Let's see. That was definitely, the Niles was definitely something I wanted to ask about.
Yeah, he's been great. He's been calling us once, twice a week. I actually fell asleep on the phone with him and Cameron 2 nights ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like 11:30 because he's in Seattle and he's like, I think we lost Joe, Cameron. She's like, no, he's sleeping. She's like, so we just talked for another hour.
Oh, jeez.
He's like, you sure? She's like, yeah, I know Joe. He's out.
Just like,
yeah.
You wake up.
I woke up on the couch and my phone. I was like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
And then, I get up so early to go to the store. I just,
So do you have plans to compete this year?
Well, so since when you win Pizza Maker of the Year, you cannot compete anymore. However, you can compete what's called Best of the Best, where you get 3 secret ingredients. So I'm going to do that against the past winners of Pizza Maker of the Year. And then I have my employees. I'm training and coaching Cameron and another employee to compete. She's competing in traditional.
And it's in March?
Yeah.
In Vegas?
Mm-hmm. So she's competing. And we'll see if any of my pizza guys want to do the box folds. And I wish some of the girls were old enough because they have like box folding.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you can
competitions
win $1,000 who can fold 5 boxes the fastest. So I thought that would be cool. Do a little in-store competition, get a free trip to Vegas to compete.
Yeah.
That's what some of my other friends do. They bring like a team. They'll bring like 10 or 15 employees. And they'll all come in their, the Valentina's jackets or whatnot, and they'll go to the show, and it's really cool. Plus, the staff gets to see another side of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
You never know who like wants to be a part of this or make it a career or just see what it's really like on the inside.
I got to tell a buddy of mine, the Cataldos, right, where the family that have
Indiana, yeah.
in Indiana,
Yeah.
the girl's like 18 years old,
Yes.
and started competing.
Yeah.
So, Elkhart, Indiana.
Mm-hmm.
I had a guy that worked with us, and he was up in Elkhart doing business for our company.
Okay.
And I said, and it was about 2 months after you'd come back from Vegas. I was like, oh, you got to go to, and I don't remember, is it Cataldo's?
Yeah.
I said, you got to go there. Antonio's. I said, he's like, why? I was like, just go. And he went and said it was fantastic. He took a picture while he was there.
Yeah.
And I said, go up there and tell him you know Joe Carlucci. And they, of course they know Joe Carlucci, but
Did they
but it was just funny because I'm like, Elkhart, Indiana. Like, you'll never guess, man, but they have some incredible pizza.
Yeah, he's been there 30 years.
30 years?
Yeah, Paul.
Wow.
Yeah, great place. He's from Calabria.
Okay.
Yeah, he can cook and he make pizza. And his daughter's 18. Imagine Valentina doing that. Wow.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I was going to say, I definitely was curious if you were going to compete.
Yeah, well, I'm going to do the best of the best. And then they have like best pasta and sandwich competitions. But, I mean, I don't want to do that. And if I win, then I don't have sandwiches.
Oh, I know. People need to go back and listen to episode 57 because they lost your luggage, but you took the dough on your carry-on.
Yeah.
That's a great story.
We're
and then
doing
right
the
to the
same thing
hotel
this
and
year.
put it on ice.
Yeah. We're doing that this year. So I said, Cameron, be ready because you might not have luggage, but you're going to have the dough.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about these. So gift cards. Is this new? Have you been just starting the gift card campaign?
No.
Have you been doing it before?
Yeah.
I know Dylan picked one up for Wendy, my wife.
Okay.
For Christmas. I think he did it online.
We were doing, a lot of my friends did them around the holidays. They do like $100 gift card for $50.
Oh, okay.
I don't, and they say, oh, well, 25% of people don't use them. I just don't. I did Christmas Eve day before I got Valentina. I did like $75 gift card for $50. Did about 10 of them, but I wasn't big on like doing that drastic of a discount. My fear is always they're all going to come back the same night.
Yeah,
and you're going to be like have like $5,000 in gift cards and be like, because the money's up front. But yeah, it's a good little gift, and we've been selling more of them.
That certainly helps you to hits the books right away, right? You get the cash.
Yeah, that's the thing. You get the cash up front.
That's an awesome shot at the night look. I guess so there's this mural.
Mm-hmm.
Are there other plans for any other artwork or murals in the restaurant?
Not inside, outside.
Outside?
Yeah, on the wall of the parking lot, and then we're gonna make the area next to the enclosed patio like bocce, cornhole. We're gonna put like astroturf. We're gonna have patio chairs, and we're gonna put a fence up because the neighbors are complaining a lot.
Oh, really?
So we'll have some murals on that. Yeah. Oh, it's not good. It's 10 minutes. It's like 10 feet away, and they complain. It's not like we're a nightclub or a bar. They actually came over to my restaurant the other morning.
Really?
Yeah.
To meet you?
Well, because Dylan, not Dylan, but people would come in and say, "Hey, man, these people are complaining." I'm like, complaining about what? We're not playing music blasting. We're not a nightclub. So, being me, I'm going in the walk-in cooler because our cooler's outside. It was like 8 o'clock in the morning. I said, if you have a problem with me, you come talk to me. The lady's sitting on a chair. She's like, excuse me? I'm like, yeah, my staff keeps telling me. She's like, I don't have a problem with you, but she's like, hold on, let me get my husband. Yeah. I said, well, I'm making dough. You come talk to me. So I'm rolling dough, and then her husband and her walk in.
Did you tell them to go around, or did they just come through?
No, they run around. They should have came through. So every morning, Cameron says hi to them because that's how Cameron is. She's Southern. And I'm like, stop saying hi because they're rude to you. They're not waving back.
Yeah.
Give them one of these, And so the lady's like, well, I want to know who. I said, it doesn't matter. She's like, you have cars parked. See, the problem is our parking lot isn't big enough. So the area where the enclosed patio is, that grass, people drive on that and just park like it's a parking space. Well, those lights shine right in her bedroom,
yeah.
right? Now, I didn't know this. And then I had some kids that were playing in the back. One of the employees' kids were hanging out, and they were loud. So she's like, you got lights in my bedroom at night. You got this, you got that. And I said, do you know this is commercial land? You know that, right? She's like, yeah, you said you were going to put a fence up. I said, I was, and I am. I just put $1.7 million. That's how much I invested in this. Can you give me time to breathe? Can you give me time? Like, I gutted the easement, which is not my property. The whole easement cost me $10,000. So no rats, no snakes, no mosquitoes. Get rid of them. I'm like, we're not a nightclub. By 9 o'clock, we're done.
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, when I go to bed, I have lights. I said, I didn't know that. And we'll get some barricades in the front so people don't ruin my grass as well. So the husband was really nice. He was just like, we just need to communicate. I said, absolutely. I'm like, he's like, we want you to succeed. We know it's commercial land. I said, listen, if we have live music in the summer, we'll let you know. But this is Huntsville property. That is Limestone County. So if I wanted to play a band until 10 o'clock, I can.
Yeah.
Not that I'm going to do that. But I was like, I get when you're sitting on your backyard and you see a back of a walk-in cooler. And, I mean, that's all you see. And, they planted trees. And I was like, it's going to take like 5 years for those trees. That was a waste of your money. Like, good luck. But I was like, I get it. And she's like, I was talking on the phone loud to my mother because you guys were out loud. I'm like, okay, how old are we? You couldn't call me or walk over and say, hey, Joe, it's 8:30. I'm going to bed. I get up early. Can you guys do that tomorrow? I would have been like, yeah, no problem. But you're out there screaming on the phone so my employees could hear you.
Yeah.
And then my GM is waving to you the other day. So as I'm saying this, Cameron walks into the fire. And lady turns and goes, I'm sorry. You've been waving. And she's like, oh, no, it's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not, Cameron. It's not okay. So don't say it's okay. So she's like, I want to know. I said, it doesn't matter what employee told me. The point of the matter is just contact me, communicate. And the husband's like, let's just have an open line of communication. He's like, we want you to succeed. I'm like, we don't want problems with you. But, I mean, it's literally 10 feet.
How long have those houses been there?
15 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They've been. I mean, that's where I live. It's my subdivision. She's my neighbor.
Oh.
And now my other friend lives next to her. He has the pool, and he has the fence when he can just walk over, so he loves it. But I said, I live in the neighborhood. I don't want no problems. But, like, we're not going anywhere. If someone's loud or disrespectful, just let us know. And my staff is not. They don't even say anything. It's her just out there because she lets her dog out.
Let me ask you this. Like, on the residential side, even though it was 15 years ago, anytime somebody buys a house, right, they're going to, so what's going to, and if there's something vacant behind you, there's an easement. Well, what's going to go there? Well, it's commercial property. It could be this or could be that in the future. And then, boom, it happens, and you got to deal with it. But they knew that going in, that at some point your life is going to change. You're going to have neighbors. There's going to be something there that's not there today.
Look at Sonic on
And then
County Line.
Yeah, that's true. And
Look
then
at County Line with the car wash.
Oh, we got them right here now.
Okay, see what I'm saying? Yeah.
They got the car wash, the school, the Circle K, all that stuff just went in. That sat vacant for years,
and
right?
houses that are closer to them than you.
Yeah. But then I guess on the commercial side, even though, did they tell you like, oh, hey, just FYI, Joe, you got these residents back there. It's going to be a headache for you.
No.
Nothing like that?
The builder? No.
No.
No, he didn't care less. No, he didn't say anything.
Okay.
No, not one thing. And next to me is the batting cages. But, I mean, they're done by 7, 8 o'clock. And they complained about that. It's a metal building.
Oh, because they can hear the sound in there or something?
You can't hear anything. It's just instead of seeing trees and brush and shrub, they see a metal building.
It's commercial property, yeah.
Like, next time do research where you buy.
So really, the wall might help some. It's going to help with the visually, right? With the lights maybe shining in.
Right.
But sound's not going to help too much if it gets wild and crazy.
I'll put an 8-foot fence up, but, I mean, we're not going to go nuts. But if we want to have live music, maybe a band, I don't know. We have the room for that stuff. Do something nice out there. I mean,
you gonna offer them like a free pizza a month for their troubles?
We offered that. They didn't want it. We said, and Cameron made a joke. She's like, all you gotta do is walk 2 feet. We'll hand it to you. It's quickest service.
That's nice.
You ever see Goodfellas?
Yeah.
We're like, listen, you come back through the kitchen. You could walk through the kitchen and have a table.
Yeah.
But I mean, someone's always gonna complain about something.
Yeah.
And I think like
it's a good thing that you've met them. And you got that out of the way.
Oh, I met them months ago, and I told them.
Okay.
They were afraid. And then I guess when it came to tuition and it actually happened, you know, I had a couple of one of my friends' kids there, and they were a little loud and rambunctious, and they're kids. They were loud, but it was like in the afternoon. I mean, you have a dog. I could complain about your dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, I pick and choose my battles, and I don't want to fight with anybody, but at the same time, I had enough, because I don't want the employees coming in going, hey. And it's not like the back of our restaurant is a dump. It's not. You know, you're looking at a 10 by 20 wall, a cooler.
Yeah.
That's all you could see.
Gotcha.
Now, as far as people parking, people are like, they drove over, you know, when you walk in, you have those 2 islands of the rocks with the mulch in it. Like when you walk into the building, somebody drove over one of the sides and busted all the rocks out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we have to go and fix that. So I get it. People
the reality is it's not the cooler. It's just the fact that there's something there now. That's just it.
Yeah, I think it's just that.
It doesn't matter if it was a skating rink or if it was a flower. It doesn't matter. It's just that it's something, and that wasn't there before.
And those are conversations and arguments that I'm smart enough to know now I'm not going to win.
Yeah.
So there's no use of, you're not going to win it.
Yeah.
You know? You're just not.
Yeah, you're not.
So I just move on from it.
What happened with the old Portnoy and the bet? I saw there, you had that thing with Valentina, like, hey, I guess it was like a Michigan-Alabama bet for like the game tomorrow?
Yeah. So I reached out to Nick Saban's daughter.
Okay.
On Instagram about a month ago. And, we tagged her, and she thought it was pretty cool. And Cameron messaged back and said, hey, can you make this happen? Let's make it happen. Because we want to donate the money to Nick Saban and his wife's foundation, Nick's kids.
Explain the amount of money, though, and all that.
So it was a $10,000 bet.
Okay.
We bet $10,000 that Alabama would beat Michigan.
Yeah.
If Michigan loses, Portnoy would have to donate $10,000 to Nick's foundation.
Okay.
If Michigan wins, Valentina's would donate $10,000 to his foundation. Whatever,
Yeah.
So she said, I have his number. I'll text him. So we never heard, and we haven't heard anything. And then I just raised it to $15,000 today. And I reached out to her last night again. And she said, I'll reach out to him again. And then Cameron this morning reached out and said, hey, you scared to lose or something?
Yeah.
Because he put $1 million on Michigan. So after this podcast, I'm going to do a video with Valentina calling him out as well. So my goal is and we even said this. We said, we'll bet you $15,000 that Alabama beats Michigan. And we're so confident that when Alabama beats Michigan, we'll donate our 15 on top of your 15. In essence, we would donate $30,000 to Nick's kids.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah, so we'll see. I messaged Saban's daughter, Christine, last night. I haven't heard back from her yet to see if he said anything. But
does she work in, what's her connection to Portnoy?
She's Nick Saban's daughter.
That's it. Okay.
I don't know. I guess they're friends. She knows
Okay.
him.
So
she lives in Birmingham. She hasn't been up, but we're going to try to get her and the family up. That's another big thing we're working on with them.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, but I know he knows who she is, and they're friends. They exchange numbers or whatever. So she reached out and said, I'll reach out. So I thought that'd be cool. And I did said nothing about coming to do a review.
Yeah.
But I think it would be cool if he would bite on it. I've been waiting 2 years for this game to happen.
Well, she's standing in front of his picture on your old building, right?
Valentina?
The Portnoy in the back.
Yeah. If that would happen, you can get Portnoy and Saban.
That'd be cool.
To donate him a check.
Yeah.
Then we do a live podcast right there. Then you have Saban and Portnoy on your podcast. How would that be?
That would be sweet. I would love. I feel like the last part of the year has been really good as far as I got Mayor Battle on.
Mm-hmm.
That was
I saw that one. That was awesome.
Through a connection. A little bit different interview, right? We have to give kind of the interview questions in advance.
Yeah.
As all guests, I say, hey, if there's anything off limits, we're not going there. Just let me know. I'm not a political show. I'm not trying to throw him under the bus or whatever, right? It's just talking. And so I think now that we've had the hour and 15 minutes together, I'm sure he would want to come on again. But I feel like I just want to tell people, like, listen, if I want to get connected in through every time a big artist comes to the Orion or someone's coming in town, that part of their media responsibilities and commitment to like come on the podcast. Sometimes they're going to go on TV. Sometimes they're going to get interviewed on the radio. I really want this to be something that is part of that their
Connection.
stay.
Yeah.
You know,
It's the part when they come to Huntsville, they have to be on our
Snoop
town.
Dogg. When Snoop Dogg comes to Orion, he has to come on the podcast. You know, that type of stuff.
Do you have that lined up?
Not yet, but I think it just takes time. Because for me, in the lack of business is just it's numbers. And so
it takes time.
There's definitely been a change. You know, recently my numbers are better, but they're not nearly, you know, some of these other people's numbers. But at the same time, if I can get
we'll get them up.
Yeah, it's just a number, but it's also awareness. I was thinking we just moved here 2 years ago. 2 years ago this week. Jason and I, we drove in, or actually I think it was my older son, Christmas Eve night, you know. So if I went to Valentina's today, the new Valentina's, let's say I just moved in, and I just saw, oh, look at this big store, and here's this guy, right? And I didn't have the benefit of going to your old store, interviewing you, spending some time with you, and seeing this whole story behind Joe. I would easily make some assumption that was incorrect about you, right?
I still get that.
I'm sure you do.
Oh yeah.
And it's amazing when you know you can prove someone wrong, or it'd be like, man, there's an onion here. There's a lot of layers to this guy, and this thing is, you know,
but I think
amazing where you're at.
Thank you, but I think we do that, adults and people in general, in life with everything. We see the cover of that book before we read it or
judge it,
and learn about it. You know what I mean? And we don't open it and we don't read what it's about. We just judge on it, and we make our own assumption. And that's a problem I just think is deeply lied. But, you know, people see this brand new big building and think I hit it rich.
Yeah.
If anything, I did the opposite. I went backwards.
Yeah.
This was only supposed to be $800,000.
Well, it's like, and when you went to the bank originally, it wasn't just because you had all this money in the bank. It was more of like the promise of, right? This is what I can do, right?
Yeah.
Because you went through a lot of your money before and other stuff, right?
Right.
And but hey, believe in what I can do and what I have built, right? In order to secure the loan.
Exactly.
Right.
And now look where it's grown from that. The bank had the faith and the trust in me.
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for the bank, I mean, we had so many issues with the city of Huntsville from the inspectors side, fire marshal, building inspector, electrical inspector. And I'll tell you a quick story. We have a minute? So when we got annexed in, right, we got annexed in, then we had to get zoned in. As soon as we got zoned into Huntsville, our paperwork went on the desk of the fire marshal. Now, mind you, the building is completely done, but in Limestone County, you do not get a CO. You don't get anything. You get a deed, a property deed, right? There's no CO. So the fire marshal was driving by and decided to stop by. My friend was doing cosmetics to the bar, and the fire marshal walked in, and he was like, "What's going on here?" And another friend of mine, Dr. Eddie, who does audio and video, was putting some speakers in. He's like, "Oh, I'm just doing this on the side." Well, that's the first thing you don't say. But it was only speakers. So he says, well, you need a low voltage permit for that, for speakers. Then he goes in the kitchen. There's nothing in the kitchen because we're not cooking. We're not sauteing. So he gives him the card and he says, "Have him call me." Cameron says, "Don't call him. Let me call him." Cameron calls him and he says, "This place is not complete. Where's your permit?" She goes, "What are you talking about?" He said, "The kitchen's empty." She said, "We're a pizzeria." And he says, "Well, you didn't put that down on the application." She said, "Because there isn't one for a pizzeria. It only says restaurant." So he says, "Well, we need to have a meeting." She calls me. She said, "Take it easy. We have a meeting." I said, "No problem." Me and Cameron go there. The next morning, I have it framed. Next time you come in, I have it framed. The building inspector comes by and puts a stop work order on the whole building. But we're not doing anything. So we have this meeting. Seven inspectors show up. Deputy director, plumbing, building, gas, fire marshal. Guns blazing. They come in. You have a URL for these lights? Excuse me? This is wrong. This is wrong. So me and Cameron get into a cursing. I'm like, I don't care who you know. Call. I was going to actually call Joe because he knows, was it Dale Strong?
Yeah.
I was going to call him because I'm like, this is bullshit. Excuse me. I was like, this is ridiculous. We're getting ambushed. We're getting ambushed right now. So they find like a dozen things wrong with the restaurant. I think I was texting you at this time.
Yeah.
Everything. They go in the back. They let this wire's wrong. This is wrong. ADH. It's supposed to be 22. It's supposed to be 17 inches. The toilet from the wall. It's 19. Has to be moved. You're a half an inch too high in the handicap. I'm like, I mean, I just lost it. I broke down. I'm like, this is gonna cost me. I mean, we're never gonna open, right? So I'm like, your attorney. She's just let me breathe. So I called Brian Shelton, my banker. He calls down to the city, and he's like, what is going on? This building was built in... No, let me back up one real fast. The fire marshal says to her on the phone, who told you to build in Limestone County? Well, first of all, why do we have to ask permission? Second of all, the city of Huntsville told us to build in Limestone County so we didn't have to get inspected. Keep it up to code, but the inspectors can't do anything. That was problem number one. Mm. Then he sees the patio. Oh, you're going to need a sprinkler system. Well, we're not opening then. I'll rip it down. I'll rip it down right now. $125,000. I don't have $125,000. So the deputy director there, and for anybody that doesn't know what the deputy director do, he's the liaison. He was amazing. He's the guy in the middle. So I said to the inspectors, can I just tell you my story? Can I tell you so you don't think that we like did all this behind your back? And they're like, yeah. I said, I bought this building from a contractor. He owned the land. The deal was he builds it. I had a loan. The loan was a lock and key, which means he had the loan and I would take over the loan. So he was going to build the whole thing. I couldn't do anything until that building was complete. Then I get the loan in my name. So I couldn't annex it when I bought the land because I didn't own it. So they say, who's the builder? And we tell them. So I'm like, I just got screwed out of like $1 million. I was like, we'll rip this patio down right now. 20,000, I don't care. Because over 100 seats, you need a sprinkler system.
Gotcha. When
Cameron called 2 months ago, prior to that, you know what the secretary said on the phone? Well, it depends on the fire marshal and the day you get him and the mood he's in. Verbatim, she said that.
Right.
Right?
That's helpful.
So I'm ready to like go at it, right? So everybody leaves and the fire marshal stays with the deputy director because he was really cool. And he's like, okay, this is what I'll do. He's like, you find me a fire mechanic engineer that says that you don't need a sprinkler system because you have enough exits. I'll pass it. Okay, well, that's not that easy. Another $10,000 to find one to come in.
Really?
Because we didn't get an architect. Because the builder didn't want one, right? So we find one. Now he says, okay, but you have to put a fire alarm system in, like they have in schools. That's $20,000. So we can keep the patio. So now, all of a sudden, like the inspectors are kind of understanding that it wasn't us. They're like, listen, they're like, we tell businesses this when they open, come talk to us. Like I said, listen, I can't put Legos together. I never did this before. He said, don't be afraid to come in our office. We want to help business. I said, okay, I'm not blaming you. So I call the bank, and the bank's like, before you get another contractor, you make the first one fix everything. You can't sue him if he doesn't give him the option to fix it. So I call him up. He does good. He doesn't come by, but he sends his subs by. So we do all that. We end up getting the approval for the fire alarm system. What that does, that takes the city of Huntsville off the hook. If there's a fire and someone dies, it's on the fire engineer because he personally guarantees.
Yeah.
Now, the reason that we need this over 100 seats is because back in 2001, there was a fire in Rhode Island in a club. I don't know if you remember, and 100 kids died.
Mm.
So you know what the fire marshal said to me? If you made this patio with pool tables, you wouldn't need anything. I said, what are you talking about? He said, because it's not seating. So I said, well, we're not doing that. Long story short, we did all that. Guess what happens the first night we open? Take a wild guess. The first night.
A fire.
Nope. Fire alarm goes off.
A fire.
Guess who comes out?
The fire marshal.
Nope. Fire department.
Fire,
Fire truck right up in their uniform.
Okay.
Guess how many times they came out in one night the first time? 3.
Really?
Yep.
It kept going off.
You know why? Because they put a smoke detector above the pizza line.
Oh, gosh.
And the kid burnt it. So we had to call the fire marshal and say, can we put a heat sensor instead of a smoke sensor?
Yeah.
So I remember I was texting you about all that. I said, I don't know if this place is going to, this is ridiculous. At the end, all the inspectors, they were working with us. They understand. But to be honest with you, it's very gray. It's at their discretion on what they like. And I think that needs to be fixed in the future for any businesses. You know, they come in, like the gas inspector came in. He's like, you need a breaker shut off for your electric oven. I'm like, aren't you the gas guy? Like, why are you talking about electric? But he has a say in it. And then the electric guy walks in, and what does he say? Yeah, what he said.
Yeah, I know
and
what you mean.
You follow me? And it's just more money, more money, more money. And that just got me down. I remember I was texting you almost every day or night. You were checking on me. And I was like, is it even worth it?
I was just blown away. I'm like, how does this happen?
That's what I said.
How does this happen?
That's what I said. And then another fire marshal came to do the final, because we had to get a lockbox outside the restaurant if there is a fire, where you put your key. And I said, not for nothing, because he knew me from the other store. I said, let me ask you something. I said, 2 months ago, the girl inside's a lawyer. I let everybody know that she's a practicing lawyer. Not that we're going to do anything, but I said, she's very sharp, sharper than me. And she called down to the city. And she specifically said, we are going to put in a closed patio. It is attached to the building. Do we need a sprinkler system? If we don't, then we'll put it in. If not, we will not enclose it. Well, not really.
Yeah.
It depends on the mood. He goes, oh, that lady's no longer working with us. Well, that doesn't help me, but you follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's not as easy as people think. And
it's unfortunate because you almost have to. There's other examples in life. I tell my kids, like, if you're in college and you're trying to get advice on what courses you should take, I tell them, get 3 opinions. And it's almost the same thing. If someone said something that's somewhat subjective and wishy-washy, get another opinion and get another opinion until all the stories match at least 3 times, right? You know what I mean?
No, you're
and
right.
That's exactly that type of thing. Like, ask somebody else. Keep calling and getting different people, because you're probably going to get 3 different answers.
I even called Tony on it, and he had said, see if they'll do a let you open with a continuance plan.
Yeah.
Because I had said to Cameron, I said, I'll tell you right now.
Right.
We're opening with or without permits from the city. We will open those doors. They can come chain them. I can get. I have to open. I was hemorrhaging money.
Right.
I said, we are opening. Like, I don't care at this point, but it all worked out. I mean, thank God. But I mean, I learned a lot from this end, on this side. But you're right, 3 opinions. Not to change the subject real fast, but Dylan had come to me, and he was, because he wants to walk dogs, and my neighbors keep asking me. I was like, Dylan, how much do you charge? Like, my neighbor got this dog and this one, and I need my dog, my poor dog sometimes. So he was like, I don't know how much to charge. I said, Dylan, go look at other sites. Go look at 3.
There you go.
3, 4, and then figure out. My biggest thing is, Dylan, what is your worth? What is your worth per hour? Taking time to do something for somebody, you have to have a worth. We all have a worth. What is that worth to you? Whether it's you're taking time away from hanging with your family, your friends, your homework, your cats, whatever you like to do, you're taking time. So what is your worth? And no one can tell you your worth is too much or too less. That's your worth. Will it work? It might not. But what is your worth? And then, so when he did it, I was like, Dylan, that's not enough. Your worth is more. So he says, my dad said it was too much. I said, Dylan, whose business is this? I said, if you do what you want to do, and if they don't bite, they don't bite.
Yeah.
I said, but if they bite and then you do it and you do a good job, that money they give you, they're not going to think anything of it because I know you.
Yeah.
I know how you, if you work with dogs like you do with plates, how clean you get them and how hard.
Yeah, people remember it.
Remember it. They're going to give you more plus a tip.
It's just like your pizza. This isn't, if you want a $10 pizza, fine, go to Domino's. But you're getting a high quality pizza.
Right.
And there's a premium for that.
Right. And if we mess up, we'll fix it. But, and it's a certain, like your pizza is one of the most expensive on the menu. It is.
Yeah.
And it's not because it's our town, but it's one of the best we have on the menu. We've been told that. I mean, it's the flavor profile that we've come up with it. It's way better than, put it this way, I've made it better by trial and error than when I won with it. And now over there, people don't look at the price. They just want the Our Town. No one said anything about the price of the pizza. They just love the pizza.
Because you had 30 minutes to come up with the idea.
Yeah.
In the competition.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
30 minutes, and then I got an Our Town pizza now. That's the top seller at Valentina's. We might have to try get another one called the Troy.
That's right. Joe, you got any final thoughts? Any shout outs?
My staff. I just say thank you to them. They've done an amazing job in the 4 weeks that we've been open in the new location. Anyone looking to better themselves, polish themselves, you know, career change, you know, any kind of avenue, come by, check us out, talk to us. You know, the door is always open. We do have a certain niche. And, you know, when the Cork and Crust people came, I was a little nervous in the beginning because, like, we're a family. Even though we have more people, we're tight. We all went to Topgolf. We went to Char. Dylan dressed in a suit. He was, like, the best dressed. I could give him an award for it.
With a real tie.
Yeah. And they stayed after some of them. And I was glad because we all bonded. But he, you know, I'll say this ending about Dylan because I gave everybody something for Christmas. Every single staff gave a bonus. Not much. Hand wrote every card. 30-something employees. Some of them said thank you. I didn't even need to thank you. Dylan wrote me a card. Made me cry. Hand wrote me a card, and then he got me a gift from Buc-ee's. Even though he didn't get me the cotton candy I always like, he got me salsa. And I was like, what about the cotton candy I always ask you for? I'm like, is that listening 15 times, Dylan? But right. I said thank you. But, I mean, that to me means the world. So anybody looking to better themselves or help better a new place, just come and apply or come try to eat it, you know, and see what happens. And, you know, we have a lot going on, maybe midsummer. And if Saban or Portnoy come, you're going to be the first one to know about it. Or if he takes that bet.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to cut that clip today and put it out there since it's fresh and the game's tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great if he came. You and Erica would be on my speed dial.
There you go.
You know, but no, just good luck in 2024 to everybody, and never give up and always fight.
Hey, thanks for taking time out. I know your off time is precious. Valentina's here. I guess they're getting into some mischief, maybe.
Yeah, Dylan is a good babysitter too. So,
but appreciate your friendship. Appreciate you coming on, and man, it's gonna be a good year.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me for the 100th.
Thank you, sir.
Have a good day.
Take you too.
All right.